Okay guys, welcome back, wonderful YouTubers, to another exciting tutorial that I have planned for you today. So today we are going to create a really eerie alien in the forest, like an alien, UFO crash in the forest scene. And I'm quite excited for this one because I think it's gonna look epic. So now, what I wanted to show you guys, the first thing we need to do is, you see I've got my alien here in Blender, and what I do is just go to cgtrader.com and you'll see that they have obviously many different aliens and you can use different ones if you want to, but I downloaded this one, and it's a free model. You just need to credit the artist there's the artist that created this alien, and I must say it looks incredible, very detailed, very lifelike. So I just went ahead and downloaded that, and then I imported it. I downloaded it as an OBJ file, and then I imported the alien into my scene. Now before we go ahead and animate this guy and texture, we have to do a few things. Now, first of all, this guy has a lot of vertices, and it's really going to slow down the process. So we don't need all of these vertices. So what we need to do, or what we should do, is click on our model and then go to your modifiers, and we are going to decimate the geometry, which is going to basically remove the amount of vertices that we don't need. As you can see here, the vertice count is 2.8 million, which is insane amounts of detail, and it's just going to slow things down. So let's go to add modifier. We look for the decimate function, and then we want to click on unsubdivide. And then, so this is the current face count, 28 or 2.8 million, and the iterations is the amount that you want to unsubdivide it with. So let's just go there and start with a basic amount. Let's just say 2. Press enter, and then just give it a moment to think, because it's quite the process. So it's now got to think and like remove vertices where it thinks it doesn't need, and still keep the basic shape. So now by entering a value of 2, you see the face count has dropped down to what is this, 71 or 719,000, which is down from 2 point something million, which is insane. And I think you can see that it still looks pretty good. Just right click, say shade smooth, so you don't see those little squares there, or you shouldn't. Just give it a moment, and then I think we can work, with 70, or that's 700 and something, which is still quite a lot. So let's pump it up to 3, press enter, just give it a moment. And then obviously if you press this value, if you push this value up too high, you're going to lose too much detail, and then it's not going to look realistic, or it's going to look strange. Also keep in mind what you want to create in your scene. So for now, okay, I think let's apply, and it's going to embed that calculation, and we will be left with that amount of vertices or face counts. And just give it a moment to process. Okay, so now we are left with 359,000, which is not too bad. Let's go, but you can see that's still an insane amount. I guess it depends on the resources of your computer, but you know what, I think we can still push it down. We don't need that much detail, so we go back, add another decimate modifier, go to unsubdivide, and then push it to 3, and then give it a moment to think, and we'll see. Okay, so now you can see you're starting to lose quality here, and this is maybe a little bit too much. So we bring this down to 2 and see what that looks like. And it's not bad. I mean, we're probably gonna see this guy from this distance, and it looks, it's not bad at all. So let's apply that, and then we are left with, let's see, there we go, that's the amount. And if you go to edit mode, you can see, and yeah, I mean, it still has quite a bit of detail, and it doesn't look too bad, so I'm happy with that. Now I want to show you guys something really awesome. So I want to animate this character, and in order to do that, we need to rig this character and give it a skeleton. Now, first of all, I do not know a lot about animating and rigging characters, but I do know a little bit to get by, and I discovered something really awesome, and I'm going to show you guys right now. So what we want to do is, I'm going to click there on X-ray view, see his eyeballs. Okay, so now we're going to go Shift A and go to armature. We're going to create an armature, and this is basically the skeleton that we are creating in order to rig our character. Then we go to the side view. I'm actually going to split this view into 2. Put that to the front view there, and put this to the side view so we can better see what's going on. Cool. Now what we're going to do is we need to position this armature. So we go to click on G, and I'm going to put it on the hip right there. I think right there is fine. Boom. And then we're going to go to edit mode, and we're going to click on the armature over there, and then just shift it forwards a bit to follow the curvature of the back, and then we're going to extrude it out, and we're just basically adding to the skeleton. So now we've got a spine, we want a neck, so I'm going to put it just over there, maybe there, and then one over there, and we're going to go back down to that one and do the same. We want to extrude out on this side for the hips. Click there, extrude out there, extrude out to the basically the knees. We're going to move that by pressing G, move that to the kneecap, and move that to the front there to the knee. Same on the other side. There, there. And now we need to extrude it out again to the ankle, because it's an alien. It's got a really weird looking ankle. Same with this one. Extrude out there. This can probably... Oh, let's undo there. I didn't mean to extrude again. Exit, undo, and just move it there. Same on the other side. By pressing G, select this one. We can actually select both by holding Shift and left clicking, and then press E for extrude. And then we don't need a lot of detail. We're not going to do really fancy animation. It's going to be a very basic animation. Extrude all the way to there, and then move these. Oh gosh, sorry. Pressing G, just move that to be in line over there, which is fine. Cool, now we've got down there. Now we need to do the shoulders and the arms. So let's go up. We're going to go to that one. And then we're going to go and extrude out to the shoulder. Same on this side. Extrude out. And now we just need to remember to move that into the shoulder. Oh, you see now I pressed the wrong thing. So click there, press G, move it there so it's in line with the shoulder. G, press it there. That's why it's important to have these two views so you can... This skeleton armature needs to be inside this mesh, running inside here, for it to work, in order for it to work properly. Cool. Now I'm gonna select them both, extrude down for the elbows. Click on that one, press G, move it there to the elbows, and then there, press G, move it to the elbows, move it to the elbow. Cool. Extrude same to the wrist, and we're just gonna extrude out to the tip of the fingers, I guess. Nice and lazy. G, so it's on the elbow. This must be on the wrist, and this must be the tip of the fingers. Same with this one. You're going to extrude to the elbow, to the wrist, and move it to the wrist. Extrude out to the tip of the fingers. Move it to the tip of the fingers. Cool. And now you can right click on this line, say join areas, click there, and now you can see we've built a base skeleton for our alien, and I think that's fine. And now the next step, which I always get a little bit confused by, but we're just gonna give it a try. So now what we need to do is parent our skeleton to our mesh. So I can never remember. I think we have to first select the mesh, then select the skeleton, and then go Control P. What we want to do is say set parent to object with automatic weights. So what that will do is it'll automatically go paint in the weights of this mesh and where basically where it will bend and how flexible and elastic it will be. So Control P with automatic weights, and then just give it a moment to calculate that information. While we wait, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Ooh, that was fast. Alright, that's cool. Now we need to see if this actually worked. So, okay, let's click on there on our armature, go to pose mode, and then we're going to play around with this and see if this actually works. I clicked on there, I'm going to press R for rotate, and now, yeah, there we go. If I rotate this, it should adjust. I just want to change this to in front so that we can take it off of X-ray mode and still see our skeleton. So now you can see it worked. If I move it, my skeleton will move like that. So party time. Nice. Okay, it works. Cool. So what we're going to do now is we need to export this so that we can import to this website, which is called Mixamo. Now, this is an incredible website. If you don't know about it, go check it out. You need to create an account, so it's just going to log in quickly. And I'm just going to, I think, log in with my Facebook account. Give it a moment. It's going to load. I'm going to close here. We're going to be using this website for textures, which I love. It's called texturehaven.com, so be sure to type that into your web browser. So now let's just wait for the website to load. Cool. So what this website does is you can load in your own custom characters, and it's got all of these preset animations which you can apply to your character. So you don't need to animate your character, because you can just use some of these pre-made animations, and they have so many different versions. So now I had previously loaded my alien into the scene, and you can see him laying there on the floor being lazy, but I'm gonna show you how to do this from scratch. So once we've rigged our alien, we're gonna go select our alien, go File, Export, OBJ file, then just navigate to your saved folder where you save your projects. So mine will be under Blender projects, and I'm gonna go to Alien in the forest, assets, and then I'm gonna say Alien, Alien rigged, but I'm gonna say underscore Nick, which is my name, because this is my rigged version, and the Mixamo website is going to create a new rigged version where it basically fixes all the bugs to our rig. For instance, adding inverse schematics and stuff like that, which I'll show you guys now. So now we say alien rigged underscore Nick. We've got export as a OBJ object. That's all good. We want to have Y as forward, scale 1:1, and Z axis is up. Geometry, apply modifiers, smooth groups, right normals, include UVs, all these things we want to keep, and it should keep our rig. So for now, let's just say export. Give it a moment to export our character, and it looks like it's worked. Now we go back here, we're gonna say, okay, I want to upload a character. There's different versions. You can file formats. You can import as FBX, OBJ, or a zip file. I'm gonna use OBJ file, as you've seen. Go down here to alien, navigate to where we saved our alien, and it will be this one, alien rigged OBJ. Open it, and then we just need to give it a moment to import your character and analyze it so that it will set it up for rigging. So let's just give that a moment to do its thing. Okay guys, so let's have a look here. So now we've loaded it, the program has loaded our character, and just gonna rotate it to face us. All right, here we go. Next. Cool. Now this is called the Auto Rigger. Now, this is such a cool tool. What we're going to do is specify these values. So the first thing we want to specify is the chin. We're gonna just drag it and drop it on the chin, and then we're gonna do the same for the wrists. Click and drag it to the wrist right there. We're gonna drag the elbows right over there. Sorry about that. The next is we're going to drag and select the knees, and then lastly we're going to select the groin. Once we've done that and we're happy, we're going to click on next. It's going to take a few minutes to analyze our character and basically rig it, and then we can, after it's rigged, we can go ahead and select whichever animation that we want, and it will apply it to the character, which is super cool. So now keep in mind, what I want to do for this video is, create a really creepy alien in the woods scene, like dark at night with some fog and maybe an alien spaceship with some lights, you know, and some big trees and rocks. And then maybe we'll have this alien either picking at us from around a tree or from behind a rock. And then we'll have the spaceship in the background with the lights flashing. I think that's going to look really, really cool. So now I haven't decided yet if we're going to try and do this in Blender's Evee rendering system, which is a real-time game rendering system, or are we going to do it in cycles, which is more realistic for film and stuff like that. So I haven't decided yet. I think we'll see when we get to building our environment. Alright guys, look at this. This is so flippin' cool. We've got our alien here, and he's like looking around and is fully rigged and ready to go. I mean, how epic is that, guys? What is this? Enable skeleton view, rotate, pan, zoom, reset camera, toggle view. That's pretty cool. Alright, now I think let's reset camera. No, that's not gonna work. I'm just gonna pan to the front view there and bring it up. Okay, and I'm gonna click on next. Your 3D character has been uploaded. Proceed with this new character? Question mark. Your previous character will not be saved. That's obviously, I have done this before to test it out. Okay, what's going on here? Let's click on something. Alright. And now you can see, I mean, it's really cool moving around. There's some clipping going on over there, but that's fine. Now we need to look for something that's really creepy. Now, I mean, that's pretty cool. If you think about it, if you've got a alien scene and you've got a rock and you know, you're looking around and all of a sudden this thing stands up from behind the rock. I mean, I poop in my pants. But I don't know if that's exactly what I want. This could look creepy. Ooh, yes. Look at this, guys. Can you imagine you in the forest and there's this creepy thing peeking around the corner like this? Man, that would be so creepy. What's this? Some mutant. Oh, that is weird. Let's go back to old man. Let's keep looking. Maybe we can find something better. Next. Yeah, I don't know. I think what we have here might work really, really well. So I'm gonna keep this. So now what you can do, you've got all these sliders over here and all these settings where you can set the arm height, how high you want your character's arms to be. Just give it a second. Let's leave it at like 50%. You've got your energy level, which is basically how jacked up this guy, like these movements will be. So the higher you pump it, you'll see he's moving quicker and he's more energetic. The movements are more energetic. You've got overdrive, which I think increases the speed. Let's pump this all the way up, see what happens. So you see he's more twitchy. I mean, which is cool. It's creepy, but we don't want twitchy. We want like the slow moving, peeking, creepy character. So maybe it's a little bit too fast. Let's bring it down here to 50%. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Now the character arm space. Now we could space the arms out a bit because I think the fingers are clipping. Alright, and trim, what is this? Okay, so this is the length of the animation. Currently it's running at 307 frames. Trim 308 total frames. I think I want as many frames as possible. So I'm gonna bring this down. That gives us 52 frames. How does this work? This is confusing. Let's pump it up. Just give it a moment to load. What do we have now? 300, 450 frames. Yeah, and if I bring this all the way down, does that even, increase it even more? Let's have a look here. 3, 4, 5, 600 frames. I mean, that's sufficient, I think, for us to build something cool. Now, I'm really happy with this creepy ass alien. And I'm going to click on download. The formats, let's see here. We can download this as FBX files with skin. I don't know what this means, so I'm just going to leave it on with skin. Keyframe reduction, I don't know what that means, leave it on none. And then frames per second, I think let's leave this at, I don't know, film is usually at 24 frames a second. So I think let's bring it down to 24 frames a second. And then we're going to click on download. And now we just give it a few moments to download. And this is going to download our preset animation rigged character, which is, I mean, how awesome and how easy was that, guys? That was so easy. Just see, it's going to take a few seconds here depending on the speed of your internet. And it's tiny. Look at that, 7.4 megabytes, which is super tiny, which is great. We're going to go here to our alien in the forest, assets, and then I'm going to open the downloads folder. And then it saved it as old man, which is funny. And then I'm going to paste it in here. And now we don't need this. That's fine. We'll leave it there, but we don't need it because we've now used that and created this new file. So I'm going to say alien animation. And let's go animated because it's already animated. And that will now be this should be an FBX file, which is fine because Blender can import FBX files. Okay, we go back to Blender. And we don't need this anymore. I'm just going to delete this. And just for fun, let's import our character and see. So we go import FBX file, go to Blender projects, alien in the forest, assets, and we're just gonna click OK. Give it a few seconds. I don't know where my alien is. Oh, it's tiny. Great. Just scale it up to round about, I don't know, somewhere over there. And then we'll rotate this. Let's leave it on, no, it's 180. We want it facing this way. All right, and now you can see the rig looks different. Now I put the rig for the fingers and everything. And there's our animation. As you can see here, the keyframe animation is already in there. Now, I don't want to see this, so we just go to our armature settings here. Oh, gosh, I got to remember how to do this. Go down here, go to show shapes. No. Group colors. No. Show in front. No. Okay. Word. Okay, either way, it doesn't matter because as soon as you click on render, oh, what's it showing? Let's see what happens. Let me just adjust my camera quickly. Go here. Gonna rotate this around here. Okay, and then very quickly, I'm just gonna click on render, which is F12. Okay, so see, when I render this, you don't see the skeleton, you just see the alien, which is exactly what we want. Cool. Now, what we need to do now Oh, actually, I wanted to show you guys. If I press play, our alien will move. Look how cool and creepy that is. We've got our alien peeking at us. Oh my word, this is gonna be so cool. Alright, I don't know. I think we set this to 600 frames. I think it's animated to around 600. Let's just click on that. And you can scroll here and you can see, okay, it's gone to, that's 490 frames. That's where the animation stops. So a little bit more, but we don't need more than that. And you can see it's got a very creepy peeking vibes, which is fantastic. And now what we need to do is we need to build our environments that around this guy and make it look really cool and eerie and creepy. So let's start with that. But let's save our project file and go back, go here to alien in the forest. I'm just gonna, oh gosh, okay, rename. I'm just gonna copy that, and I'm going to rename my Blender file alien in forest. Very cool. So what I want to do is set the frames, the keyframes. I mean, so it's already on 24 frames per second, which is perfect because that's what we rendered this guy out as, or saved it out from Mixamo. And I am very excited to start building out this scene. So I'm going to split my view, go to camera view, not caravan view. And then I am just going to start building this environment. So the first thing we need, I guess, would be a surface or a terrain. So you go Shift A, you go to Mesh and Landscape. Now, once again, keep in mind, guys, if this is your first time using... Okay, I just need to kind of mention that this tutorial is a little bit more advanced than beginner. I will be doing a beginner tutorial on my channel at some point, where we'll create a coffee cup and saucer with cappuccino in it, and maybe a donut on a table surface. And I'll be taking you exactly through all the steps on how to model that and create it. If you're a beginner, that is a wonderful course that you can, or not course, but tutorial to view and grow your skills in Blender. So as I was saying, to create a terrain, you go to Mesh and Landscape. Now, if it's not showing Landscape there, remember to go to File. Sorry, no, not File. Edit, Preferences. Go to Add-ons. Type in Landscape, and it'll pop up. Let's just let me show you quickly. Landscape, and just enable it there. Landscape, and then you can go back here, and it'll show. So we're going to click on Landscape, and then we want to set our landscape. Now, I'm just going to use a very random, I don't know, let's play with the seed, creates a random one. I want a relatively flat-ish surface. Maybe it needs a little mountain in the background, so if we use something like that. So subdivision surfaces, let's just pump this up to like 300. Get more detail into this because we're going to be scaling that up, possibly a little bit more. So let's go 600. 600, give it a second. 600, give it a second. All right, I'm happy with that. So now, give it a moment to load. Now we need to scale this up, and I'm going to rotate this landscape. Like that. Scale up again and move it back. And what we need to do now is probably move this down. Give it some rotation. So this is not working exactly the way I thought. Rotate that. it's not big enough, so I'm going to scale this up even more. I can't even see my camera. GZ, move this down. You know what? Let me scale this down, and I'm going to move this into the background here. Scale that up. Okay, now this will be for our background, but we need another surface for our dude to stand on. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this by pressing Shift D, and then I'm going to scale that down. Scale Z, scale it down on the Z axis, so we have a flat terrain for our alien to stand on. Something like that. Now bear in mind, you're not really going to see the feet because we're going to put rocks in front of here. But let's at least try our best to line up. Oh, so it sits there nicely. Okay. Cool, guys. So now we've got a little mountain in the back, and we've got a surface where it stands on. And then when we press play, we've got our movement and everything going. Obviously it's playing here at only 10 frames per second because it's slow. I don't have the highest spec computer, so obviously that will affect. So keep that in mind when you're doing animations, because it's only playing at 10 frames per second, which is slow. But that's just the real-time feedback. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is oh gosh, I don't know, let's go to, I think we can try and do this in Evee, which is where we're in now. I just need to go to shading, go to camera view, go to rendered view, go to world setting, and just pump up here the so we obviously want this to be relatively dark, but it's at night. We want a little bit of a bluish shine to our environment. So maybe just like a pale moonlight. Something like that, and you can bring the strength down. Just a tad of paleness. That's what we want. Okay. Go back to object. What we can do is go to the internet. I'm just gonna use this website that I found called Wallpaper Flare or whatever, and then let's look for like a background image. We want nighttime forest. So nighttime forest. Let's see what we get. Okay, just browse here quickly. This could be interesting. So open that up. Keep browsing, keep browsing. We basically want an image that is going to provide the light into our scene. So let's just keep looking. I wonder if we can set the ratio to widescreen. It's not showing. Okay, that's fine. Keep scrolling. We want something dark and eerie with a little bit of moonlight coming through. I mean, this isn't too bad. You know what? Let's just go ahead and download this image. So download for your screen. Yes, whatever. Just give it a second here to download. Can I just save it? I guess so. Blender projects, alien forest. Gonna go to textures. Just call this forest. Okay. Let's see quickly. Let's go to layout. I'm gonna say import image as plain. textures. Where's my texture? Alien and forest texture. No, guys, what's going on here? Alien textures. It's there. I don't know why it's not showing. Let's go back here. Alien and forest textures. For some reason, it's not showing. I just want to inspect this. Oh goodness. Okay, I think I know what's wrong. This needs to say the file name isn't right. So let's just say .jpg. Let's try again. File, import, image is plain, textures, still not showing. There's something wrong here. I don't know what's going on here, but we can try and find a way to fix it. What we're going to do then is just pop this in Photoshop and resave it as a JPEG. So let's go there, bring it into Photoshop. Let's give it a second. Yeah, file, save as JPEG. Yes, and then let's go back. Textures. All right, there we go. So that was strange. We're gonna scale this up. We're gonna bring it back here. Scale. Actually, we don't even need that mountain. You know what? Let's just delete that. We don't even need that, guys. We've got, because this will be our background, right? So let's go there. We need to, I think let's just sort out our camera here. First of all, because it's not completely straight. You see it's angled and it's not supposed to be like that. Let's go here, rotation. I want it to be 180 exact. And then this thing needs to be 180, which is exact. And then just want to move it, scale it down, I guess. Okay, go to this view, go just move it up. And then I want this to be emitting light. So let's go back to shading. Okay. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to create an emission texture, emission node, pop the color into the color, emission into the surface. And now you can see this is emitting lights into our scene. The higher I pump it, the more it shines. So we just want to create a little bit of a background there. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. Keeping in mind, we're gonna set up the lighting a little bit later, because I want the light to emit from there. We're gonna have our spaceship here in the background with light emitting, and we'll have other lights that will fill the area, for instance. But you know what, actually I've decided let's do it in cycles, because it looks so much more realistic. Alright, so now we've got that set up. We've got our background, we've got our alien. Now it's time to add some trees into this mother. So what I want to do is just save this. Then I want to go to weight paint. Go here to weight. No, not texture. Go to weight paint. And then I want to paint where I want to distribute my trees. for my forest scene. So I'll leave some space for the spaceship, but I'm just gonna, that's quite a hectic. Bring that down and just paint randomly where I want to have some trees, and we can bring up the weight, bring the radius down, add a little bit more, you know, we want more dense foliage. Maybe add some in the back here. Okay, cool. So this, go to vertex, go here, UV vertex group. I think this is what we're painting here now. I'm just going to name this trees. Okay, and then we go back to object mode. Now we need a tree to distribute into our scene. So what we're going to do is go file, import, obj, and then go navigate to our assets folder, trees, models, and then just look for our trees. Yeah, let's go to this one, import. Just give it a second to load. All right, now we've got a tree. So let's just move it out the way here. And I want to put it in its own group by pressing M, new collection, and calling this main tree. Okay. So for now, let me just add a little bit more lights into our scene so we can actually see what we're doing. Bring that down a bit to like there, and get a little bit of blue. All right, cool. Just so we are able to see what's actually happening right now. Now what we want to do is distribute that tree. Go to the particle properties, add particles, go to hair, advanced, and then go down to render, change this to object mode, and then we want to take our tree collection, main tree, and drag and drop this in here. Now, what's going on? Renders object. So that's not working for some reason. Objects join. It works too. Cool. Something doesn't look right there. Just change the scale. Holy moly, that's not right. So our object rotation is not right. So what we want to do here, set that to 1. No, 0.4. Still not right. Just reduce the amount of trees here to 20. And then you want to change your object rotation. And that'll affect okay, and so let's click on rotation. Okay guys, we just need to play around with this for a bit to get this correct. There we go. Just click on object rotation and then it'll make your tree stand up correctly. Once again, just maybe increase the scale here to 0.8. We want nice big trees. And then what we can do is come in here and we want to pump up this randomness scale. Like we can probably pump this all the way. And then we can set our field weights. No, not field weights. It's our vertex groups. And we set the density to trees, because then it'll place the trees exactly where we painted. Okay. Now we can increase this to 50, which is a lot. Just bring maybe the randomness scale down. Scale randomness 0.5. Bring the scale down. And then there's obviously a tree in front of our camera here, so we're gonna just click on the seed until we get something really cool. So just play around with the setting until you get something worthwhile. Actually bring this up. Let's put this on 1. We've got some giant trees here. I mean, there we go. That's looking better. Let's give it a quick render. See what it looks like. Okay guys, so I just went ahead and played around with a few settings just to see what's best and what would work and not. So I'm going to run you through those so you're not completely lost. So the first thing I did was I changed the rendering system to Evee. So you just go here to render properties, click on Evee. And then I just enabled these settings: the ambient occlusion, the bloom, and the screen space reflections. Now that'll give you the most accurate and realistic lifelike renders in the game engine, which is the game rendering engine, which is a real-time renderer called Evee. And then I just changed the shadow sizes here to 1024, and I clicked on high bit depth. Cool. And then also what I did is I just clicked on my surface here, and then I went to particle settings and I just played with the seed settings. So mine is on 12 because I just wanted a better distribution of the trees to be more, to hide this alien more so he's not so out in the open. And then what I did is, to move the alien, don't click on the alien itself, you have to click on the skeleton and then press G and X, and I just moved it. For instance, G, X, so it was here, and then I just shifted it to like kind of peek out here. And then if I give it a quick play, that's what we have so far. You can see he's like peeking at us around the tree there, which is extremely creepy, and that's kind of what we want. We don't want to see his entire body. We want some mystery to what is peeking around the corner at us. So that's why I wanted a tree here in the foreground, and then he's peeking around like that. Okay, so that's pretty much what I did, and now I'm going to continue building the rest of the environment. I think let's continue by adding textures to the surface here. So I'm gonna go sorry about that. I'm gonna go to Texture Haven. I showed you guys earlier. You can go here to texturehaven.com, and they've got all these great free textures that you can use. Now we want to look for terrain, and we need to look for let's look for a nice terrain that we can use. Probably looking for something like a forest floor surface, so probably something, yeah, forest ground, which is probably what we'll use for this one. So yeah, cool. So let's go download all these maps, and we don't need super high res. I think let's just go download in 2K, and then I'm just going to open the downloads folder, take my download, go to my files, textures, paste it in here. And what I want to do is just copy this naming convention here, go new, paste, and drop that in there. Extract here. We can now delete that, we don't need that. Cool. View, let's change this view so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, cool. So let's go back here, let's go to shading, and now I want to add a new texture, and we'll start dropping in these textures here. So let's go to ground, drag it down here, drop it in, connect that to the base color, and we can probably set this to viewport shading to this one so we can see what we're doing here. And we're probably gonna have to unwrap in order for us to see the texture on this surface. Let's just go to particles, and we'll hide the trees for now so we can actually see the surface here. So now obviously it's not showing, so we're going to go to edit mode, press A for all, UV, and unwrap. Let's just give that some time to load while I have a sip of my coffee. Okay, so that took a few moments, but as you can see, our texture is now showing. Okay, go back to the camera view, and I think I just want to play with the scale here, because it's a little bit too big. So let's go 5, 5, 5. And if you want to do that, you just click on that node, press Ctrl T, and I'll set this up for you automatically. And then you can play with scale until you are happy with that. So that looks pretty good. Let's move that there, move this down, and then drag in the rest of our texture map. So now we need, let's take the roughness, drop in the roughness here, boop. And then we also need to connect this there, so it has the same scale as that texture map. What's next here? We've got our normal map. We can just drag that down here, boom, drop it there, connect there. So now you can either connect this straight into the, no you can't, you shift A, you can say normal map, drop that into the color, and then that into normal. Just give it a moment. Right, and that's what you basically left with. But now, because we're going to have a low light situation, or for instance, you're not going to see a lot of this detail, I want to set this maybe to a bump map instead. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to say bump, drop that in there, put that into maybe let's try this. Sorry guys, I have a bit of a sneeze there. There it is. Yo, okay, that was hectic. Cool. So if you drop that into the height and the normal, then you get a bit of a bump going. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, that's a little bit intense, so we can just bring that down to like a point. Maybe adjust the distance of this bump. Doesn't need to be as intense. Just a little bit of a bump there. Doesn't need to be too much. Here we go. I mean, that looks fine. Alright, I think that looks good. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I think that looks fine. Then we still have displacement maps, which we're not going to use. We've got the ambient inclusion, which we don't really need to use, I think. So this works perfectly. So I'm just going to leave that as is. And then we can bring back our trees here just to see. And then I'm going to press render quickly, F12, and see what we have so far. Alright, so this is what we have going so far. We've got our trees, our forest in the background, we've got our surface here, some nice bumps. And then what we're going to do now is add some foliage to our surface here. Let's just spread that out. So we're going to go to layout, and then I'm going to import file, import obj files, and then assets, and then we've got this tree file, and these trees are downloaded from CG Trader as everything. So I just typed in trees and then just search for trees, and you can download whichever trees you want. You don't have to use these trees, it really doesn't matter. And then cool, let's look for another tree that we can use to spread out as some nice foliage. There, press G, move this to the side here, see what this looks like. That looks, nah, don't want to use that one. Let's try again, import obj. Let's take the first one maybe. Just shift that out to the side. Yeah, it's like a fern. That's pretty cool. I think we can spread some ferns. Okay, yeah, let's take this. I'm going to say object join. It doesn't want to join for some reason. Object join. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is click on our surface here, create a new emitter, hair, change this to object, and we need to select our little tree there. Cool. Then we can play around with the scale and put some randomness into our scale like this. Just remember to tick advanced and rotation, and then click here on object rotation, and that'll set it to be on the z-axis like this. And then if we give that a quick render just to see what it looks like, then we're left with, I mean, it already looks pretty good, to be honest. It's getting there. To recreate nature, it's really all about the randomness. So let's go here to rotation. We just want to adjust the phase a little bit. You don't want it to be exactly straight. And then I think the randomize, we can play around a bit, not too much. Okay, we can also go to children, and you can say simple or interpolated. Let's see what, I mean, that's quite a lot, so I don't know. See what that looks like. Okay, and that's our render so far. But now obviously this is complete overkill on the fern. We don't need that much. So what we're gonna do is, let's just say none. We'll leave it there, and then we'll just increase this number here to maybe 2000, and let's see how that renders. Just should render a lot faster. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's not bad at all. I think that we can work with this. Now let me just see if I press play. Maybe we need to add some grass. So we're gonna go back here to add another particle system, and click on hair. And then what we want to do is click on hair dynamics, also advanced, and then we want to, I think we don't need that, I think, because it's not, we're not rendering as an object. Yeah, okay, let's have a look see. So the hair length, sorry guys, the hair length we want to bring down. We don't want it to be 4 meters, it's complete overkill. And then let's see if we press play. Okay, now go back. Might have to go into the rendered view so I can actually see what this looks like. Let's do a quick render. So you've got these long random pieces of grass sticking out. Actually, that's not going to work. You know, let's just import another tree. Let's see. So I wonder if we had to change this though. Let's go back to camera view. If we had to change the weight settings on this particle system, which is this one, and we're gonna go down to vertex groups and select trees, see what this looks like. Okay, we got some interesting distribution, which is fine. And then, like I said, I'm gonna add another tree here. So file, import, let's actually just click on save. Remember to save your files, guys. Import obj. Let's go to number 3. I have no idea what kind of plant this is. Let's have a look. And that's just another tall fern. Which is cool. We can actually, let's look around for something else. So that was number 3. OBJ number 4. Okay, let's click here. More tree bush things. And that was number 4. OBJ number 5. See what this is. More bushes. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna show you guys a little trick here to create grass. So what you want to do is, let's open Photoshop, and then let's go to Google, and then let's just, I don't know, search random blade of grass. Blade of grass. Click on images. Let's have a look see. We've got these ones. Let's go maybe tools, size, large. Like for these things, yeah. Let's try the free pick website because they usually have some really cool images. We can go to filter, photos, and then I'm gonna search blade of grass. We just need a single blade of grass to create our image. Now I'm struggling to find something. I'm sorry guys, I don't know why I've got something in my throat today. Oh my word, okay. I guess this could possibly work. You know what? I'm just gonna copy this, go to Photoshop, create new. Yeah, let's just say create. I'm gonna paste this image in here. Now this is the fast, lazy way to do this. I'm gonna use the pen tool here, and I'm just gonna quickly. Actually, I'm gonna use the quick selection, object selection. I want that object. Ah, that worked. Click on mask. We can crop this here, over there. Crop that, hide that, and then we're gonna export this, save as PNG. We're gonna go to Blender projects here, alien forest, assets, no, textures, and we're gonna save this as a PNG file as grass, save, and then we go back. We can close this now. We can go here and we go file, import image as plain, texture, grass. Press backslash so we can just see our grass, and this is what we have. So now we just need to quickly create our blade of grass. So I'm gonna go to edit mode, go to loop cut. I'm just gonna add loop cuts quickly, and then I'm gonna click here on X-ray view, just select. I'm just gonna give this some randomness. Shade smooth. Cool. Now go to the side view here. Gonna just rotate that a bit. What I want to do is go here and click on the 3D cursor, click there and say set origin to 3D cursor, and then we're gonna duplicate, and you can just rotate that very quickly, and you can scale it up and down, give it some randomness. However you want. Scale it down, maybe add some random rotationness to it. just play around with this, try and create some as much randomness as possible for your grass. And yeah, just keep doing that, play around, really build out the fullness and the thickness of this grass here that we will be using. Cool, so we've got some random grass. Maybe we can scale this down a bit, scale that down a bit to get some evenness going. Select all of these, say object, click object join, and now we've got some grass. Fantastic. So I'm just going to move this out the way. Okay, and then go back to camera view. Click on particles, add another particle system, click on hair, say advanced rotation, click on object rotation. We need to select our grass, so we can select there. I'll go back to our camera view, pump up the scale here, add some randomness, add some phase. Okay, and then we can probably go click on simple or interpolated. So interpolated, and then let's also play around with this. Randomize. Let's give that a quick render and see what it looks like. Alright, so that is too much. Complete overkill once again. So I'm gonna remove the children, and then I'm going to just increase this to 5,000. What we actually need to do is paint, go to weight paint and paint where we want our grass to be. Because now currently it's distributing all over this area, which we don't want, we just want it in this area. So we go to weight paint, and then we're going to add, go to vertex here, I think we add a new one, and we'll call this okay, for some reason I can't read. Oh wait, you can. Okay, this will be grass. Cool. And we're just gonna paint where we want our grass to be distributed in this localized area. Okay, then we're gonna go back to camera view. We've got this selected. We're gonna go down to particles, and then here by density we're gonna select grass, and it's more distributed to the area that we want, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want. Let's press render again, see what it looks like. And yes, oh gosh, this is looking good. This is looking really, really good. Okay. Now that we've got that, I think maybe we need to add some. Let's play around with our camera here for a few moments. Camera, they say the eye sees in 23mm. So let's set it to 23, render it, and see what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, looks interesting, I guess. So maybe we'll keep it there, and then split this view. What you want to do is click on view here and set this to just a really large number. Otherwise things are going to disappear out of your scene and you're not going to know why. Alright, cool. So I'll go to camera view on this one, and I see, okay, that image is now not all the way into our camera, so we're going to just do that. That's what we want. Cool. Now we want to add some rocks, maybe. Yeah, okay, let's go file, import obj, go back here to rock texture, a rock model, which I downloaded again from CG Trader, because they just have really awesome 3D models. Currently I don't think this model has a texture on it, so we need to first fix that, which is not a problem. We can go to shading. Nope, not sculpting. We want to go to shading, and then cool, we can go here, and then we can go back to our very trusty texture haven, and we're gonna go to rocks and then look for some really cool rock textures that we can use. Maybe we'll use a nice mossy rock, because think about it, this rock's been sitting in the forest, gathering, you know, it's usually misty and lots of rain in the forests, and yeah, so we've got our rock here, our rock texture. Gonna go back, paste there. Before we extract, we're gonna go create a new folder. Just copy this name and rename this. Drop it in there. Cool, now we go back. And now we're just gonna start dropping these in. So let's go, we want this. Drop it into base color. I wonder if this looks like. Okay. We've got our roughness map. Nope. We wanted, you see now I messed up. Yeah, let me just close this. Roughness into blender, connected to roughness, and then our normal map. We don't need displacement maps because our rock is custom made. It's basically sculpted to look like a rock, so you don't need it. But if you want, I'll show you maybe I'll show you guys how to add a displacement map to your rock anyway. So we go here to normal, pop the color in the color, normal into normal. Okay, so now, like I said, you really don't need a displacement map because this looks like a rock already. Cool. Just move this down a bit to sit inside the surface. I'm gonna go to top view. Yeah, so I wonder where we need rocks. Maybe should we put a rock in front of this guy? I wonder if that's too much though. Let's have a look-see. Yeah, I guess that can work. Let's duplicate the rock. Maybe add a rock here in the foreground. We don't need too many rocks. Maybe just a few random ones. GZ. JZ. Add some rotation to that rock. Give it some randomness. Give another render, see what it looks like. Recording in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's just go to camera view, go here. I think we need to move that up so we can see more of that forest floor. Something like that. Okay, so you know we're getting there. I think we got our forest here. Got our alien in there. And now we need to create okay, cool. For now, let's just hide. I can't work with all of these trees and stuff in the way. I can't see anything. So let's do that. And then let's start texturing our alien. Let's go to this view. So we need a little bit more lights here so I can actually see what I'm doing. Just gonna move this to there. Cool. And then let's go to shading. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for some textures that I can use to create our alien looking skin. Let's just browse some random ones, see what we have here. Dum 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 do 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 do. Okay, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Well, okay, obviously these textures aren't made, is not specific for alien skin. This is all natural surfaces and stuff, but we can repurpose them. Let's look for something. Oh goodness. This is gonna take a while. Sorry guys for taking so long. Just want something really cool. You know what? I'm just gonna take this. I'll show you guys how we can use this to create alien looking skin. So let's just download. Yes, all of them is fine. Pop that in here. Textures. Save there. Home, new folder. Then we're gonna once again copy this name like that. And like that. Pop it in there. Extract. Then we don't need the zip file anymore. View large. Okay, cool. Now what we want to do is we want this. So let's go here. Let's add a new texture to our alien. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna take this. Actually, we can probably use this. Drop it into base color. Now nothing's happening, and that's probably because we need to unwrap the UV. So we need to go to edit mode. What's going on? Alien, edit, all, UV, unwrap. Go back to object mode. Okay, so something's happening here. What the heck is happening? That looks very strange. Edit. Let's go to the UV editor, just see what's going on here. UV, smart UV project. Object mode. That's better. Okay, cool. So, I mean, guys, look at this already. You've got some interesting color variations on his skin and stuff. So that's what we want, you know. Because I think aliens would probably have really weird looking skin like this. And then what you can do is, what I'm gonna do is add a Musgrave texture, and I'm gonna drop this into the roughness. And then I'm gonna play with the scale. So you got a nice variation here of roughness. You can add some metallicness to his skin if you want. Then yeah, you've got something really kind of creepy going on there. And then if you want, you can, that actually looks fine. You know, you don't need to do anything more fancy than that. So I'm gonna do that, and then actually want his eyes to be black. So what I'm going to do here is go to, this might be a little bit more difficult to do. We don't even need to do that, to be honest. It looks fine. So go back to that view. Go to layout, go here, bring that back, give it a quick render, see what we're working with here. Ah, yummy guys. Yeah, and there's our little alien peeking there. We've got some rocks, and now we need to set up some lighting for the scene. So I'm gonna split the view here again, like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, first of all, just hide that because I can't see anything once again. Take this light, move this towards the back here. Go to lights, add some blue tinge to this light. We can probably pump up the brightness a bit. Add the trees back in here, particle trees. I wanted to add a volume metric. We need to add some volume in here. Let's go to shading. Actually, layout first. We go add a mesh, we add a cube, scale this up nice and big to encompass our scene. Scale, 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 scale. There we go. We go to shading, add a new texture for our cube. Then we go principled volume, and then volume scatter. So volume, wait a minute, volumetric scatter. So we go surface, okay, wait, I don't think we've done something wrong here. Shading. Go to volume scatter, bring the density to 0.2, 0.1, and we're already looking super creeps in here, so it's awesome. And then we can add a Musgrave texture to the height, put that into the color, pump the density, play with the scale, play with this, bring the density down a bit. Look how this is looking, so nice. Let's render that out, see what it looks like. All right, yeah, guys, we are getting there. This is starting to look like something which is really, really cool. So now the next thing to do here is we want to create an alien spaceship. I'm just going to hide this. I'm going to hide the trees here again so I can just see what I'm doing. Let's go mesh. Okay, to create our alien spaceship, I'm going to use a UV sphere. Scale that up nice. set that to shade smooth. Normals, I'm gonna go here to normals, auto smooth. GZ, just move that up. And then you're gonna go scale Z, scale that down. And then move that down again. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, where's our alien? It's over there. So we want our ship to be somewhere over there. Just move it up a bit. That's still way too close to our alien dude. So we want to move that back on the y-axis. Yeah, scale it up a bit. I mean, that's looking pretty creepy. Alien vibes. And then what I wanted to do was go to edit mode. Then I wanted to delete. I want to select like random faces. Every second face I'm going to select. Like this, all the way around. All the way around, and then go X, delete faces. So we've got an empty void. And then I'm going to place a light inside of this bad boy. That'll be rotating. So I'm going to go to lights, add a spotlight. Okay. And then this light I'm going to move here to the center. Right there. And I'm going to move it up to the middle there. I'm going to give it a 90-degree rotation. Cool. Let's keep rotating this. So it's facing the camera, yeah. Okay. Select the lights, go here, and then I'm going to pump this up to a really crazy high setting. Bring the angle of the light down like this. Just move that up a bit. It's supposed to be inside that thing, but it's not. For some reason it's not inside of it, which is a problem. Okay, Okay, you know what? Let's cancel that. Let's make a point light. We'll move this point light here to there. Move it up. And set that to crazy high value. Make it like a purple color. Let's add a solidify modifier. Yeah, solidify. Increase the thickness. We can add a subdivision surface. Cool. Let's just see what we have right now, because it's hard to see. I'm thinking the best thing to do, yeah, is delete this light. No, undo that. To delete that point light there. Then take a spotlight, move it here. Give it a rotation. Bring the radius down like that. Pump that up. That'll be like a I don't know why this is not actually working. Okay, sorry for the silence, guys. Just trying to figure this out. Duplicate this light. I'm gonna give it a rotation, 180-degree rotation. Move this there. Select that light, duplicate, rotate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these lights and I'm going to parent them to the ship. Parent object. So let's see if I rotate. That did not work. I think it parented to the surface there, which is not right. I want to take these lights. Oh, son of a... Let's just hide this. Take the lights and parent them to the ship. That's what we want. There we go. Okay, let's see what we have. I'm probably gonna have to play around with the volumetrics a bit. I think it might be a little bit overwhelming, so but now what I want to do is I want to animate this ship to go here. I'm gonna go animation, rotate on the Z axis, and then go to the end of the frames and say I want it to rotate like a lot. So I don't know how many times it's going to be rotating. Okay. Shading. Let's play with this a bit. yeah, guys, one thing that you should know is 3D stuff like this takes a lot of patience, and you just got to play around with this stuff until you succeed, you know, till you get something that you feel works. So let's switch over to cycles, see what that looks like. Let's have a look, see. Let's give this a render, see how long it takes to render in cycles. Uh, 4 minutes. Okay. Evee. See what we have. I wonder if I take away this background image, what it would look like. Let's have a look-see. I think possibly if we add, so go to this view, and I think if we can add in a, what happens if we do this? It's gonna look strange. Looks fine, but then if we add a area light, scale that up, move it up, and then we just add some light from above, like moonlight for instance, just to fill the scene a bit more. Let me just see what we have here. Scale Z. Let's render that, see what it looks like. Okay, there's something happening here. I think maybe the density is too much, you know, of so we can play with the density. So go to here. Go shading. So let's see if we want to add some density, but not too much. And then I forgot to play around with this material of the spaceship. So let's just go to materials, add a new material. And this is very simple. Just bring that down, the base color, pump up the metallic to make it metallic. You can bring down the roughness, bring up the metallic. This you can bring down again. Now that's basically how I would do that. I would have wanted these lights to be more intense so you can actually see the light shining there, but I don't know what's going on with the bloom setting. Maybe it's volumetrics here. Let's have a look, see. Okay. Make a quick render, see what we have. This is what we have so far. It's getting there, but now the volumetrics isn't enough. So let's bring that back this way. It's hard to see what I'm looking at. You know, things gets so busy. I'm going to render that out again so we can just have a quick look. But I think we're nearing the end of this tutorial, and then I'm going to try and render this out as a video for you guys so we can see what it looks like. What if I took this out, the scatter? And you know what? Let me take this out. I'm just going to say principled volume. Pop that into the volume. Bring the density down to 0.5. Okay, more, 0.1 I guess. Render, see what we have. Let's give that a moment. Yeah, it's getting a little better. But now you see the thing is we can't see the ship, and that's I want to be able to see the ship in a sense. So again, I'm going to have to play around with this. Because you want to be able to see the ship as well. Render that again for the 50th time to see what we have. Loading, loading, loading. Render, render, render. Okay, cool. Yeah, so now we can see a silhouette of the ship. We can see our alien dude. And I think we are in a good place. I think what I wanted to do is, yeah, maybe we should add this back in though. Layout, let's see here. GY. Give that a render again. Let's see quickly. Loading, loading, loading. Alright, I think we're in a good place now, so maybe we can animate the camera. So let's go, I'm just going to change this and then go to this. Nope. Nope. Location. I think we move from here to and then from here to maybe there. Let's go back, play. It's playing very slow, obviously, because there's a lot to load. So the camera's going to move in. We're going to have our spaceship that's flashing lights there. And we're going to move in and to the right. Okay, and what I want to do as well is I want to maybe add some motion noise to our camera to give it a realistic look. I do also want to add motion blur. That's going to give it some realism. And then, like I said, maybe add some camera shake to our camera, which is gonna give it just a little bit of more realistic feel, like of someone walking through the woods recording, and then they come across like this alien in the woods looking at them. One thing I want to do quickly is I want to just fix this. I don't like the look of the surface texture, so I'm gonna go back to shading. Let me just hide the trees so I can once again see what I'm doing. Click on that. And this is the problem here. I'm gonna take that off, and I'm just gonna set this to a normal map, color, normal. What if I set that into the strength? Nope. And then set that 2.5. Yeah, that's fine. We are back in action here. Cube for our volumetrics. Let's just render this again very quickly. I really want to get this volumetrics right, because that's really what's going to add the realism. So we'll see. What I want to do is go back. If I play this, okay, there's movement. Okay, guys, I mean, I've messed this up a little bit now because I've been changing settings and stuff. Just let me just keep playing with this seed function so I can get something that I will think it will work for this. So sorry if I've messed you guys around with that. I'm just gonna keep moving through this seed till something eventually comes. Let's see if I move through here. I mean, I guess that's fine. So go to the render settings. That is on. Set that down to 80. Render that. I'm thinking we don't need screen space reflections because that usually just works for that improves when you've got reflective surfaces, and we don't have a lot of reflective surfaces in this video because it's all natural bushes and trees and stuff, so we don't need that. The only thing that's reflective is the ship, which is in the dark here. You can't see it anyway. My word, there's trees there. Okay, so let's go to render. I'm gonna take off screen space reflections. Keep bloom. I don't even know if we need ambient occlusion. I'm gonna say, oh, we do. And then let's just move this back a bit more. Give it another render. Let's see how long it takes. See what it looks like. Sorry for such a long video, guys. I just do want it to look really cool. Yeah, I think we're getting there. It's getting to a point. It's looking like something's happening, so that's good. What else can we add here? What else can we do to make it look more realistic? I think I'll play with this again. So let me go back to shading, camera view, and then I'm gonna pop this back into the color, render it out, see what we have again, and then I think we're basically done. And I'm gonna render it out, render the video out, and then yeah. I think yeah, that's not bad. I think before we move on, let's add an animation to our noise, our volume. That's going to give a little bit more realism because it's going to look like there's fog moving through the scene. So what we want to do is, I think we want to go Control T, and then this will be the location which we can adjust, which is how awesome is that. So what we want to do is just split this window. No, not that window, sorry, split this window, and then set this to the timeline. We're gonna skip back, and then we're gonna click on the location of maybe the X. Yeah, so we can press I for, and that'll add a keyframe, and then we can go to the end of our video and then just move this along and then press I again to add another keyframe. And this is going to add motion to our fog. And you'll see that our fog will be moving from one direction to another. So yeah, I think that's it. And now we can go back to layout, and I'm gonna render this video out and we can see what it looks like. I'm wondering if we should add depth a field. Now keep in mind this will slow down your system. We want to focus on this alien bro. We can put it on, drop it on the armature, and then just not so easy to play around with these things, but eventually, guys, it's just literally just playing around with these settings and experimenting, and whatever, like what works for you, you know. It's really, that's how I did it. I just play around with things, play around with some settings until I finally get to something that I think looks good. Like I said, there's no specific way to do this. It's literally just what you think looks good. Now, what I wanted to add here is there's a light there. Trying to see where this light. I just need to hide some of the stuff because I can't see anything when I'm working here. It's just too much going on. Okay, so there's another light here. There it is. I'm going to move this light to there. Okay. This thing needs to move to there. GZ, it's gonna move up to around there. And then this light we can probably just pump up like crazy. 10,000, I think. Move that up. Go back here. Unhide that, unhide that, give it another render. I would have thought that that light is a lot brighter. Doesn't seem like it, does it? The problem is, if for me to render this in cycles, it's going to take a really long time. So if you go to cycles, drop the render quality down. Maybe drop that to 50%. Let's give it a render, see what we're working with. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna take really long because of the volumetrics and stuff. Let's just let it render anyway, see what it looks like. Maybe I'll end up rendering it out, which it's gonna take very, very long. But I mean, this will give you the most realistic look to your video. Okay, see, so we've got something happening, but yeah, I mean, I had to compress everything so much you can't even see what's going on here. Because if I put this full view and this render quality on like 200 and then render it, see how long that's gonna take. Probably like 4 minutes for one frame, and there's 600 frames, so that's a lot of render time. That's the reason I wanted to render this out in Evee, because it's a lot quicker. Even though it's not as realistic, it is a lot quicker to see the result of our creation. So I'm gonna let this render out this 4 minutes, and then we can see what it looks like, and then we'll make a final decision. Okay guys, so I have now decided we're going to render this out in Evee. Render settings, we're going to put that on 80, put ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space, reflections turn off, put motion blur on. Also go into the compositing tab, and I just added a glare, 2 glares, one set to streaks, one to fog glow, and yeah, and then we're going to render this out. We're going to go here, 24 frames a second. I'm going to set our output to Blender Project Alien Forest, create a new folder called Render. Alien Forest, and we're going to set this to, we want to render this out as a MPEG video. Encoding, you can go set this to MP4. We want high quality. Cool, yeah, so we're going to do 24 frames as a MP4 video. There's 24 frames a second, and it's a total of 490 frames at this aspect ratio here, so it's 1920 by 1080. And we're going to render this out and see what it looks like. I'll see you guys then. Okay guys, so now that we've rendered out our footage from Blender, you might notice, or you will notice when you play it, it is very dull and it's not very striking. So you see it's very dull looking, doesn't look very cinematic. Yeah, I mean, it looks fine, it's fine enough, but it can be better. So what I'm about to show you is a few tricks to create and to make your footage more cinematic like. So the first thing you want to do is go into Adobe After Effects, go to File, Import, and we're going to go and navigate to our render under our Blender projects, go to Render, and then just import our video file. And I'm going to drag and drop it over here. It's going to open up the composition. I'm just going to set this, remember to set your playback quality to quarter, so it's not super slow when you play it back. So what you want to do now, I'm going to show you a few tricks on how to improve the colors. What we can do is, for now, we can set it to to full quality so we can see how we're affecting the colors, because we're not going to play it, we just want to see the colors. So the first thing you want to do is go down here to, on the right hand side, you've got your effects and presets panel, and you want to go click on color correction, and I like using this lumetri color. And I'm just going to drag and drop that on my video file, and then I'm going to just experiment with all these settings until I get something that I'm happy with. So first thing I want to do now is just bring up the contrast, the exposure, because the footage is a little bit too dark. I'm going to pump up the contrast to get the darks darker and the lights lighter. Let's have a look here. Turn to exposure, shadows, whites, blacks. Shadows, we can bring that up a little bit. The blacks we can bring down just a tad, not too much. Actually, let's just leave that on 0. Creative here, split toning, we're not going to adjust that. Curves, wheels, vignettes. So I do want to add a vignette, but I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to click. There's something else I wanted to adjust here. Color balance. I think it was called color balance. We can type it in, see? Color balance, and let's drop that on there. Just minimize that. Okay, it was not color balance. Maybe it is under the lumetri. Close there, go color. Okay, color wheels, and then you've got your shadows, your highlights, and your midtones, and you can adjust these individually. So we want to bring the blues up more. So let's just play around with this for a little. Just drag it here to the blue. Alright, so now if we deactivate this, you can see the difference that we have already in our image. Cool, that's about it that we're going to do on the color side. Then something really cool to give you a real cinematic feel is to right click here, go to new solid. You can leave it on black, and then you scale this down and just put it there. And then I'm going to copy and paste it, copy paste, drag it down to the bottom of the screen. Now already you've got that real cinema feeling. Now we want to add a vignette. CC vignette, drop it on there. Okay, go down here, the amounts. Now this is what we want to set. I want to set so the edges are dark. You see there now. If I take this away, you can see that the edges are darkened, but the center is still highlighted. Now we just got to be careful not to overdo that. Angle of view. Let's have a look here. So that's just focusing in. There we go. I think that's about right. Yeah, just want to darken the edges a bit. And then the very last thing we're going to do is add some noise to our footage, because especially when you're shooting at night, cameras will be a little bit noisy. And if I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look at cinematic or actual film, they add grain to the image to create that cinematic feel. So I'm just going to go here to noise and drop that on my footage, and then I'm just going to increase the noise amount. You don't want to overdo it. For instance, that's overdoing it. You just want to add a little tiny bit of noise. Just a tiny bit. Maybe like that. Let's just see quickly if we want to add some glow. Well, let's see what we can. Yeah, okay. So you search glow, drop that on your footage, and then we can play around with thresholds and radius, and that'll really pop those lights and those colors. There we go. That's what you want right there. Look at that. Look at that. At your intensities. Remember, this is like an alien spaceship light. It's going to be like very bright, hard to see, you know, blinding you. Very intense colors. Cool. Now I'm going to set this back to quarter and I'm going to view it quickly. So obviously when you set it to quarter, that's your playback quality, which is very low, but it's just easier to view the footage. Let's see if it's still pretty slow, but it's playing. So that's an example of what our footage will look like. So it's looking a lot more cinematic. I'll show you if I turn all of these settings off. That's what our original footage looked like. And that's what it looks like now. A lot more cinematic. Look at that. Look at that difference. Okay. And then if you really want to take this to another level, is you can add in some audio effects, which I did in my video. I just went to the YouTube audio library to sound effects and I searched for alien and wind noises and walking sounds and just dropped them in here, shifted them around and edited it. And then I ended up with a nice little creepy audio clip that really enhances the experience when watching this clip. If I set this back to full, look how nice and creepy that looks. That really does enhance the experience compared to that's the original, and that looks a lot more cinematic and realistic, considering, you know, the fact that we rendered this out of Evee, which is a real-time rendering system for games, not for film. So this looks pretty good. I mean, that looks pretty much like a film to me. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section, I guess. But yeah, that's the After Effects part of this tutorial. And then you can just save your footage out. What I would usually do is go to composition. I say add to media encoder, which is another program that works in tandem with After Effects. And then I render it out or save the file out as a MP4 file. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching once again. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.